layout at the moment. Hopefully some people will join in soon. I'll set the chat to live chat. Oh, we got Eminem Railsin. Mark, how are you doing? Oh, here comes a whole bunch of people. Joseph Batts, Model Train Mania, Railroader Davis, Railfan Loy, Train Boys Stuff, Norfolk Railway Fan, The Conductor, DeKendrick, Traincraft 101, Trainman 1993, Curulus Berry, Caden Knus, Jacob EMD 642, Seth Lloyd, Georgie Little, Logan Dines, Safe Train Productions, Caden the Railfan, Rails of the East Coast, Sealy Mainline, SE, Pingu, Brendan Lewis, Frickery Empire, CNW, there's a channel called Sleepy, Nickel Plate Road, Lemon Lime, Trains Mania 2021, Oscar Taurus. Got a whole bunch of people in here. A lot of names I recognize, but I've also got to say a lot of new names in here. So if you happen to be new to these live streams, welcome. Railfan, hello, Thomas. All right, I might have missed some people. If I did, welcome to the live stream. I've still got a whole bunch of people joining in. The trouble is, for some reason, some of the comments repeat, so I have trouble deciphering who's actually whose name I've already called out. New name, same person for me. Okay, maybe everyone's been changing their channel names. Who knows? Let's see a -9er today. Yeah, I could probably put a CN one on. What's the number on the Via train? The P42 is 919. Can you run a GP7? Yeah, probably. I'll run the -9er first, though. We'll see if I can dig up one of those. Yeah, in fact, there's two of them right there. And that's got a proper coupler, so it will probably work with this. Canadian Duke boys. What about the Canadian Duke boys? Oh, got a super chat from SE. Hi, SMT. Hope to see you run the big boy. Well, thanks a bunch. And yeah, we can run the big boy. Why not? Are you thinking about getting a Bachman Thomas? Not particularly, to be honest. If I ever start up SMT Junior, maybe I will. But personally, I'm not really interested in one. And this channel is just not for the youngsters. And I know there's some people that like Thomas that are obviously not kids, but it's not my flavor. Very fond memories of it as a kid, though. All right, so here's that -9er as requested. I gotta love these larger engines. This thing just doesn't even struggle. Can you run the Runaway Train? Possibly. We'll run this around a lot, though, because getting a full-size train off the main line is a little bit timely. Do you have a T1 duplex? No, I don't. On my Locomotive, the little rubber band that is on the wheels broken off. How do I replace that? I've been using small O-rings. Other people have been suggesting brace bands. I don't know. I know there's some other people too that buy heat shrink tubing and they use that. I thought I had some here. I wanted to show you. But, yeah, so you buy a larger piece of heat shrink tubing, you cut off a piece and you wrap that around the wheel. Apparently that works. I've never tried it. And I think that's about enough of that -9. Now we'll try to find a GP7. Probably a GP9 because I can't identify the difference. But it will be similar. How are you, SMT? I'm well. How are you? Can you run the Dreyfus, possibly? Yes, but I'll do that one a little bit later as well. Now, -9, or not -9, what am I saying here? A GP9. I don't know if any of these are GP9. I suspect so. Just tell me which brand it is or which company it is, and I'll run that one. Because I don't know which of these are or not GP9s. A GP7 and a GP only difference is the vent covers. I've heard that before, I just don't know the difference. So some of them got a vent like this, some of them got a vent like this, but I don't know which is which. Can you run the Wakefield train? Possibly so. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go and take a guess and run this. Should be nice if I could run something with a knuckle coupler, but I probably don't have that. So yeah, we'll just try to go with this, see if it works. There's no way this is powerful enough to pull this whole thing though. So what I need to do is get a second one of those and put them together. I was actually pretty sure I had a third one of these, but I don't know where it's at right now, so that's that. Hey SMT, have you gone by Hobby Junction yet? You could run a 480 engine, please, and I like your channel. I haven't gone to Hobby Junction. I don't believe that's in the area, so not so much. I will have some new train store tours probably coming up fairly soon because I've already filmed them. I just need to narrate and edit them. I visited a couple stores out in Alberta, and I also was in Maine not that long ago, so I was able to visit a couple stores there as well. Well, I was able to visit one actual train store. The other two were just antique stores that happen to sell trains. Hey SMT, how are you tonight? Keep it up. Thank you. And to answer your question, not bad. Thanks for asking. Hey SMT, my dad works with someone whose dad used to play with model trains. He had a lot of cool stuff. There was an Amtrak FP40 dummy. He's giving me a price of $450. I think I'm getting it. Yeah, an FP40 dummy worth $450. Kind of skeptical it's worth that much. Hobby Junction is near Montreal. Okay, I recognize the name is because I think you were the same person who commented on the what was that, Van Horn Hobbies in Montreal. So yeah, next time I'm out in the Montreal area, I'll probably swing by there. But I'm about 2 hours away from Montreal. That's about how far Ottawa is from there. So it's not somewhere I stop by all the time. 2 AHMs seem to be doing a fine job. Did you go to Maine Model Works? Yeah, that was the store. I don't know who was the one who recommended Maine Model Works. If it was you, DeKendrick, thanks, because it was a pretty rockin' store, I gotta say. Like, they had so much selection and their prices were pretty good. A lot of stuff I was really tempted to get, but I ended up buying this one steam engine, which I think is brass plated. They had a whole bunch of other really cool things, though. They had a really old Challenger engine, and I would have bought it, but it was selling for, like, I think it was $300. So I don't really have the budget for that, but if it was lower, I would have definitely snapped that one up. SMT, I have 2 questions. You can answer this. Do you like doing something other than trains, and do you rail fan? Yeah, I have some other hobbies. I guess the second biggest hobby I have is probably boating. Quite a big fan of taking the boat out and working on it a little bit and learning how to work on outboards. So that's one. Yeah, I go out rail fanning once in a while. The truth is the Ottawa area doesn't have a whole lot to rail fan, so unfortunately there's there's just not much to watch. But when I went out to Montreal with my train buddies, we were all rail fanning, and it was a lot of fun. Now, I said I was going to run the big boy for the person, SE, who sent in that super chat. So I'll do just that right now. Maybe the L&N Loco. Yeah, I guess so. I have to figure out where I actually put the big boy. Because it's not where... Oh, yeah, right. It's a lot more than just the F40 and the consist. I think it's worth it if you want to. I might do a review on my channel about 1 to 2 weeks if you want to check it out. Well, if it's a big lot, then yeah, maybe. Some of that older stuff though is depreciated, so you know, if it's something you really want, I mean, hey, go ahead, your money, whatever. But sometimes I find on like Facebook Marketplace, you see people trying to sell off their like 1980s era Tyco and Bachmann stuff for a crazy price. And it's usually not worth it. Go VR, go home. Welcome. All right. I'm going to be curious to see if the big boy can actually pull this. Might have done this already last time. I can't remember. What's going on with your Japanese train? It's on the floor. I hope it didn't get cursed like the Acela. No, it's just sorting out storage. I'm kind of reorganizing everything a bit, so that's just where it is. Well, glad to see the big boy is doing it. GFW Trains. Hey, everyone. It's been a while. Yeah, it's good to see you back. Hershey factory update. No progress on the factory, but my plan is, as the weather is starting to get colder outside, I'm probably going to start working on it more again. I really want to get it done sooner. I know I said I was going to get it done by April. I missed my deadline on that by quite a long shot, but it's tricky because in the springtime, you know, it's cold out, so I've got a lot of time to spend inside and stuff, but during the summer, you know, people are out doing stuff, and you know, I just kind of don't want to miss out on that. So the factory hasn't had as much done as I'd like to see, but it's a project I really would like to complete. It's not looking too bad at the moment either. I see, thanks for running the big boy. Ah, you're very welcome. Thanks for the super chat, much appreciated. Nathan Delay, welcome. Can you run the Athearn Amtrak F unit? I just got one myself. Sure thing. Let's go find that. It's probably somewhere, I would suspect, in one of these rows. All right, where the heck's it at? Another super chat, my goodness. Hey SMT, finally got my HO 1995 CNW Heritage Unit model at my club's layout the other day. Bought it from eBay and it's in mint condition. Huh, good for you. Thanks for the super chat. It's gonna look too... Only super chat I see, but I saw a light for a second, so I don't know. I hope I didn't miss anybody's super chat. If I did, let me know. I'll credit them. Okay, Ricky M, hey SMT, I'm going to a train show this Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. That's lucky. They're finally starting to bring those back here in Canada. However, there haven't been any in my area, so I'm really hoping that this fall we get the OVAR train show back. But we'll see. I'm not holding my breath on it. All right, where the heck is that F unit at? Let's just scan through, see if I can find it. I'm running out of ideas. It could be... See, this shouldn't even be in that row. I'm not seeing it in the back. Saw it on the left. Yeah, I'm probably just not even... Probably not even seeing it. It's not this, in case anybody's wondering. That's looks like a trip to IKEA is needed, SMT. That would be nice. Yeah, I don't know. Guess I better head out there and, I don't know, furnish the basement a little. Well, I hate to say it, but oh, it's right here. Haha. So here's that. How far are you from Cornwall? I don't know, an hour and a few minutes? Cornwall's not that far away. I go through Cornwall a lot whenever I'm going up to Maine. Nice little town. I really like it. Been reading, too, about that whole controversy surrounding there basically being an electric engine in the town, which is historic, and I guess the town wants to get rid of it and actually bring it to Smith Falls, land of this factory. But it's causing a lot of uproar because obviously a lot of locals, you know, they want to keep the engine in the town because it's an historic piece, which is relevant to the area. But I guess it's in disrepair and the town doesn't want to see it go to scrap, so they want to get rid of it. So I guess that's what's happening. It's a pretty big lot. I think there are 6 unopened Lifelike boxes and old NNHO sets as well. Do an update on my solo later. If you want to check it out, feel free to. Harrison, I'm curious what your opinion about Bachmann is now because of the train set. It didn't change it a whole lot. I mean, I'll give Bachmann credit. They are making the cheapest sets on the market. You know, some kudos to them. I don't find that anything is really that good, though. I mean, the controllers are underpowered and are notorious for burning out. The engine's drives have a pretty major flaw in the sense that they can be broken really easily if you drop them. And the Easy Track, I've never found lasts very long. So, you know, if you're fine buying a budget set, you know, it's all right. But they're higher end train sets. I never would buy one unless it was selling really, really cheap, which they rarely are. Your screen is frozen. How much longer are you going to stream for? I don't know. I just got a low battery sign on my phone, so I might have to run up and get a charger at some point, but probably till about 10. Assuming I find a solution for that. Hey, SMT, do you like the immersive model railroading mod? It's a Minecraft mod. I don't know too much about that. I haven't really done anything with Minecraft mods since like 2013. How's Nerf Cat? You know your boy Nerf Cat, he's doing well. SMT, how did you get the Go Transit cars? They were a gift in the, I guess it was Christmas of 2008? Sometime around then. One day before you made the video on the cheapest locomotive on the market, I actually bought that locomotive. Nice. What are some of the buildings on the industrial side? I believe this is a flour mill. This is an engine shed. This is a coal-fired power plant, some sort of canning facility. We've actually got a small brewery down there, a transformer factory. I think it's some sort of a dog food factory, maybe. I don't really know. And this is all kind of miscellaneous oil storage. And yeah, more oil storage there. I think that's everything on this side. Yeah, what should we run next? Which model brand do you prefer the most? It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's really like well detailed and realistic, my choice would probably be Rapido. For kind of a blend of that, it would probably be Kato. And for dirt cheap and reliable, it's got to be the old Athearn Blue Box engines. I mean, those things are just fantastic. Like, for example, I bought this one for not even $15. This was like $5 engine. And I had to replace one wheel on it. But other than that, this engine's perfect. Really, really good engines. And you can find a ton of them everywhere. Runaway Train. Well, I guess could try to pull this thing with the Runaway Train. Might look kind of odd, but whatever. Run the Bachmann Hershey engine. We'll do that first, because setting up the Runaway Train takes a minute. Hopefully, it's got a coupler. Yeah, good. When are you going to do a train collection? Yeah, I really should do a update on the collection because I haven't done one of those since 2019. For a while there, it was kind of turning into like a yearly thing, and then for whatever reason last year I just kind of forgot. Now, where is that? Here we are. Walter's mainline engineers are really good too. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of them as well. I should have included them actually, because I quite like Walter's. But yeah, those other 3 brands are fantastic. Atlas isn't bad too, for that matter. A lot of the other brands I don't know as well. But yeah, like I would say that like Walter's train line is probably the best budget locomotive you can buy new. Can you run the Blue Australian engine? I can try. I actually dismantled it trying to get the sound decoder working again, and I haven't got the couplers back in it, but we can run it by itself. Now, let's get the Hershey engine going. Play art is much worse than Tyco play art. My 260s don't work right now. What do you think, play art or Tyco? Play art is not a high quality manufacturer. I mean, they were kind of building toys basically, but I would argue play art they were building higher quality engines than Tyco was. Their motors are definitely better, and you know, they actually had a worm gear. The drives are superior in my books. You know, I probably make a lot of Tyco fans really angry, but I think Tyco probably, the power torques might be the worst drive ever made. It's not to say you can't have fun working on them, but they're super unreliable. And they had problems. They had design problems, and they had craftsmanship issues. I mean, I've opened up models where the gears still have flashing on them, and they're not even working right. And that's a factory problem. So, yeah, they're not good drives. Go Vera, go home. Could you run the full Go Transit set for me? I sold all mine to make room for the Rapido ones. Sure, we can do that. Are there any new 2021 train sets that came out this year? If so, what company? I don't know about any full train sets. If you just want an engine, like I said, Walter's train line's pretty good. They're not brand new. I think they were developed a few years ago, but you can buy them brand new on Amazon pretty cheap. I have a whole video reviewing this engine right here. I think it's called like the cheapest engine on Amazon or something like that. And I test this thing out and stuff, and overall it was a decent engine. So, have you heard of Model Power? Yeah, Model Power is all right. They made pretty, for a budget manufacturer at the time, they were definitely building higher quality stuff than Lifelike, Tyco, and Bachmann. Which is kind of funny, because Lifelike, in one of their advertisements, was basically bragging that their engines were higher quality than Model Power and Bachmann. I could see a Lifelike engine outlasting a Bachmann of the same era, but a Model Power, I don't know. Those things are pretty steady. Liam, welcome. What was your most difficult fix? I bought some sort of an engine from the 1950s, a steam engine. I forget who it's by, but the guy who sold it to me basically said that it was a quote-unquote rough runner. I was going to need to give it a bit of oil and stuff, but it looked super cool, so I decided to buy it. And that engine probably hadn't run in, I don't know, maybe 20 years. The motor was completely seized itself. And trying to fix that thing was really discouraging, because I just kept trying and I wasn't getting anywhere with it. And I actually stopped restoring engines for a little while after that, just because I was so discouraged by that one. So that was not an easy one. I did eventually get it running, but that was a tricky one. I might have missed a super chat. Let me check here. For some reason, my super chat menu is not showing old super chats. I don't know what's going on with that. What's the best website for getting model trains? I can't say I have one I really recommend. And it's not a good answer. I'm sorry for that, but I find eBay's overpriced. I don't find Amazon has terrific deals usually, with the exception, sometimes you can find a good Bachmann or for example, that Walters engine. Like, that's not a bad deal. But yeah, I don't know. I've tried some other ones, but the truth is, like, up here in Canada, the shipping to bring something across the border is really high. So sometimes I find a website and they've got a good price for the engine, but then I go to get it shipped and it's $40. So I just don't even bother at that point because it ruins the deal. Model train stuff isn't too bad for new stuff, but some popular stuff they sell out quickly. You can get some deals on older stuff. I have bought stuff from trains.com, but I haven't bought it directly from them. I've bought it from their eBay store, so I don't know if there's a difference. They've been all right. SMT, how do you budget yourself when it comes to trains? In general, I don't know. It kind of depends. If you're just talking about how much I think an engine's worth, it's how much, do you usually see it selling for? What's the condition of it? And you just kind of either add or deduct based on that. Like, let's say I want to buy a lifelike engine. Those usually sell for $15 or less. If it's in good condition, $15. If it's in bad condition, then anywhere less than that. But just finding the funds to purchase these things is really just, how much I'm willing to spend and how much I have in the bank. There weren't a time when older VLRC sets beside Rapido. I don't think any LRC sets existed prior to Rapido. Rapido has been sort of special, I think, especially to Canadians, because they've kind of brought about making a lot of products that nobody really had access to, except maybe scratch builders. And even then, I mean, some really skilled scratch builders can make things that are impressive, but truth be told, a lot of them, it's hard to match a company which has an entire factory and research and development team to actually model the things perfectly. SMT, do you plan on getting trains on Hattons or Hornby? Not really. I might want to get some more Hornby stuff, but there's nothing I really want in particular. It'd more to be just to see what they're like, because with the exception of Hornby trying, I haven't really... Well, I've one Hornby engine, but it's from the 90s. It'd be nice to get a modern example. Rapido made resin LRC kits, the first LRCs in HO ever produced. The rest were the 3 runs of the RTR sets, most of them most recently in 2020. Well, thanks for the information, Nick. Hey, SMT, what's your best running engine? It would probably either be one of my Rapido engines or this Lily Pup one. This also is the most expensive engine I happen to own, so I hope it'd run well. What manufacturer do you recommend for sound cards? I don't really work with that kind of stuff, so I don't really have an opinion. I don't know the difference. Maybe some people in the comments will have opinions on what a good sound card is, but yeah, I don't know. If I know something about something, I'll try to share my opinion, but I just like to be honest if it's something I don't have much knowledge on. Do you have any Australian trains or rolling stock? I do. In fact, that engine right there, the BHP Iron, is Australian. Somebody also requested for me to run that, so probably run it after this. When you were building your way out, how did you get your electricity to the track? The power comes up, I think it's actually hidden under this road crossing, but I just soldered 2 wires to the track. pretty thick speaker wire, and that runs up to this controller. I don't think you need to get wire that thick, but I just wanted a good connection. And pretty much all my joints are soldered. I just find that it helps avoid electrical problems. In fact, most recently I was having a problem. The switch wasn't always providing power, but that didn't make sense because, of course, the power can flow both ways, right? So I checked, and sure enough, one of the rail joiners was loose. So I just threw a little bit of solder on that, fixed the problem. Have I missed the Hershey Factory stats report? I did mention it earlier. Basically, I haven't been working on it as much as I'd like to, but the plan is to try to get it done as soon as possible, maybe by December. It's really at the moment all about building air conditionings and things like that. Harrison, would you ever consider a train job with Canadian Pacific or CN? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, I have a lot of respect for people that do that kind of work, but if you're like a train driver, which to me is one of the more exciting jobs, you know, you'd be away from your friends and family. It'd be cool always traveling, but I don't know. And then I think a lot of the other jobs probably require a ton of education and precision. Not something I have too much of either of, so yeah, I'd probably not. How do you feel about Canadian Pacific winning KCS? It's sort of interesting. I'm kind of surprised that that deal is going through, because I'm pretty sure CN tried to buy either Burlington Northern or maybe it was BNSF. I don't remember, but it was blocked by the United States government because they're worried about a monopoly or something like that. So yeah, we'll see if it all pans out perfectly, but it's gonna be odd if they decide to make the brand all collective. Like, I kind of hope that they keep both paint schemes and everything separate and don't blend it all together. What got you started in trains? I don't know specifically. When I was younger, I was growing up with the HCW tourist railway. My grandfather lived beside that, so I saw that a lot. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. Just kind of liked them my whole life. And then the way I got into model trains was my dad, when he was younger, he had a set. And then when he got older, he packed it away. And then one night I went over to my grandparents' place, and he unboxed it and showed the whole set, and I was just blown away. It was so cool getting to see all that. So at Christmas I asked for a set and got my very first lifelike train set, along with a couple engines, and well, that's where it all began. Sound decoders, ESU. All right, gotta vote for ESU sound decoders. You run a vintage locomotive, but I want to see one. Okay, I have two of these. I don't know where the other one's at. I was gonna run that. I also need to run upstairs and grab a phone charger at some point, because I don't know, my phone gave me a sign it was running low on power, and that was probably 10 minutes ago. Well, I don't know what vintage train we should run, because I am going to run that, but it's not that vintage, so maybe something from the 70s or 60s kind of era. Any vintage. What electric engines do you have? I've got an Acela and a bunch of GG1s. Yeah, I want to get something kind of interesting going. I mean, we could try to run that terribly built steam engine. Except I think I did something into the tender for this thing. I don't know. Maybe something slightly more modern than that. Oh, should we see if this can pull that? A switcher, yeah, sure. Got one ready to go. What do you all think? Can the pen line from probably the 60s pull these 4 really heavy cars? I'd be surprised, but I still want to see if it can. I probably need to clean the wheels on this. Yeah, I really should glue the coupler around this. Wow. Well, I've once again underestimated the 1960s 4-wheel die-cast switcher. It's not even struggling that much. Well, it's left the cars behind, but it's doing it. We'll just have it push them back. This is okay because, of course, in real life they run these things backwards. The entire train, that is. Let's go. Just a curiosity, how many... Oops. Alright. I mean, it's not super efficient, but considering how hard that motor's having to work to push this whole thing, it's really not that bad. Imagine waiting at the station for a commuter train ride and it shows up being pulled by a 60s switcher. That would be interesting. Well, you know what? It's proven that it can move this train around the layout, so I'm pretty happy with that. Very impressive little purchase. $5 at a junk table. What a deal. Do you have a Bachmann ballast spreader? Can't say I do. Anyway, next on moving these go-cars, I guess we'll connect this thing up. Hopefully it'll be okay. See, it doesn't have those coupler boxes in though, so it's not quite sitting right. Run Spaceball 1. Let's see, why not? Overkill. If this thing can't pull what that small switcher did, I'm gonna be disappointed. Oh yeah, I can't have it pull this because it doesn't have couplers. Well, I'm gonna run it because I said I was gonna do that, but it's not gonna be pulling any cars. Well, good to see the sound is working in DC now. I don't seem to want to move too much. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea. Something's not right. Now, pulling the GO train. Is that an undecorated FP40 I just saw on your shelf? Why, yes it is. I really need to paint the couplers on this whole train. It looks so weird having these like just regular couplers on a train, which is all covered in snow and ice. Seems like I got a bit of a coupler height difference. So I guess we'll just get the GO cars off the main line and run this as is. Just gonna run that slowly so I have time to get these off the main line. Wow. It's just like the movie. I hear the Runaway Train theme playing right now. Such a great soundtrack. It fits the movie and all the scenes so well. They really did a great job with that film. Not everybody likes it, and I kind of get it. It is a bit of an unusual movie, but I don't know. It has something to it. Not half bad. Get the charger before you forget. Good thinking. Now, the question is, do I trust this thing to stay on the track enough to run upstairs and go get a charger without keeping an eye on it? Or should I stop it? Very tiffed. Do you remember me? Yeah, I do. Welcome back. Hey, it's my birthday. Happy birthday! Don't worry, Harrison will watch for you. Okay, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Alright, so we'll just leave all of you watching in charge of the train while I run and try to find some sort of a charger for this. And, yeah, hope for the best, really. Before I do that, though, I'm just going to remove this thing so if it derails, it's not going to go destroying a pretty expensive engine. Alright, here we go, folks. Let's adjust this before I go. Alright, time to leave the train unsupervised. Right on, it didn't even derail. So, got a charger. Now I need to find an extension cord. Things I think should be pretty mint. Our live stream now. It's everyone's live stream. I don't know where the heck I'm gonna find an extension cord. It'd be nice if Apple made these cords longer than like 3 feet. Huh. Mint. Leave it on the tripod. Yeah, that would probably be good. Synth intensifies. Run a BNSF. Possibly so. We'll have this do a few more laps. Big boy. We already ran the big boy, so we're gonna run something else. Can we run the Dreyfus? Yeah, why not? Let me just plug this in. Run the Mahano 6060. That seems like a good option. Run the Dreyfus first, though. Let's let this thing charge around the layout. What happened to your N scale, SMT? Nothing, it's fine. Everyone is waiting for the BNSF. I don't know. I did say I was gonna run the Dreyfus a long time ago, so we'll run it first. BNSF is the best. Maybe everybody does want a BNSF. I don't know. We'll run the Dreyfus first, though. Nerf cat. Do you have a humpback locomotive? Yeah, I've got one of those. Oh no. Yeah, that can't be good. I actually just spilled water on my controller. Oh yeah, and that switch doesn't work. Crap. Oh man. This is bad. So, I don't know if, I think what I need to do here is I need to get this controller going. Because, like, this was really unfortunate. But basically, I knocked this water bottle over this. It got actually on top of that. And then the water spilled right on here. And this is actually, the power from the wall does go through that switch. So, potentially 120 volt shock if I tried to touch that. So, yeah, I think we'll have to take that controller out of commission for a hot minute, and hopefully it survived. If that's the way this controller goes under, I'm going to be pretty disappointed with that. Really dumb. Everyone's putting F's in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to let that dry out for a couple days or something like that. It wasn't much water, but, like, still would not chance it. Now, what I need to figure out is where exactly I wired that controller in. Main DC. So that's the controller that we don't want to plug in. So I'm just going to find that. Bring it over this. And just kind of put that here. I really do apologize for this, everyone. Run a trolley. Well, goal number one would probably be to get this whole thing working again. Not even the tripod's working right. All right. Okay, well, at least we've got the lights back now. Alternative DC, that's what I want. Okay, that should be okay now. Harrison, what's your opinion about how people can scratch build, and is papered a good way to start scratch building before you start building with other materials? I don't really know, because I don't do a lot of scratch building. I guess if you want to, yeah, mess around with paper, it might not be a bad way to start, but I don't know. I don't even know what the most common material for scratch building is. Brass? Okay. You run the end scales soon. Maybe so. We'll run this and then the BNSF first, though. Got this engine facing the wrong way. I need to turn it around so I can put those cars behind it. Controller working then, SMT? No, it's not. It's a different controller. This one, I'm not going to touch this one. It's unplugged, but that one's okay because it's above. I didn't get water on that one. It's all right. It's not a good noise. Yeah, older Riverossies can be kind of noisy. Most of the sounds from the motor. What do you think about the new Amtrak locomotives that they're gonna get? I don't know. If you're talking about those new streamlined ones, the original SLs definitely look better. And the Chargers are a whole other story. I don't really know. I'm sure mechanically they're fine locomotives, but aesthetically I think they made a big mistake. P42s are definitely better. I find that's the case though. This older engines I find usually are They look better. The only good Charger is the one built by Dodge. Yeah, I can agree on that. Especially those late 60s and early 70s Chargers. Beautiful. Run a BNSF SD70 Mac. I don't have one. I've got a Dash 9 though. You do a railfan POV. Yeah, sure. I need to get this a little bit here. It doesn't seem half bad, honestly. If I zoom it in, it will hopefully focus on what's in the background a little better. I don't know. Should lower the camera down just a little more. There we go. Alright everyone, today I'm working on the... I've messed up the narration. I have to restart that. I need to get my rail fanning tone going again here. What's your favorite pickup truck? GMC Sierra. Or, I don't know, I guess a Silverado is pretty good, although it's kind of the same as a Sierra. Alright, folks, today I'm at Crossing 15. We're about to see the Dreyfus Hudson on its centennial run with a mid-train DPU about to come through. Here it goes. Do you have a dream car? Yeah, probably an old Dodge Charger. I think that'd be my my first choice. Alternatively, Pontiac Parisian. That's a nice looking car. Nice narration. I didn't have enough details about that. Old Dodge Charger, a man of quality. There's such cool looking cars, and I mean, you got like the Dukes of Hazzard, which was pretty cool, and then there's also a show I was watching it a while back, Roadkill, yeah, and they have they rebuilt a '68 Charger, but they did a really ratchet job, but it still turned out super cool. What's the best Charger color? I think a black Charger would look pretty cool. I like the 72 Challenger. I don't know. If I were to get one, I think I'd want a 71 model. I'm kind of biased because my grandfather actually had a 71 Charger back in the day. Dark brown. I only have one picture of it, but it was a pretty cool looking car. So let this maybe do like 2 or 3 more laps, and then we'll take this off the main line, then we'll put the BNSF on. Everyone's sharing their dream cars. I mean, to anybody who wants to say, what's your dream car? I'm kind of curious. Let's see the comments. Cadillac XP 74. Flying Scotsman, interesting choice. 1965 Mustang, nice. A Jaguar XK 120 Roadster. Porsche 911. AMC Gremlin, yeah. 60s Corvette. A Tesla Model S. Car-dependent Suburbia. Oh no. Dodge Challenger, Hellcat, Y-body, Tesla Model X. A lot of Tesla people, huh? Ferrari, 72 Beetle, Nissan GTR, 67 or 69 Camaro. 69 Camaro is a pretty cool looking car. That's of course what they used in the music video for Gorillaz Stylo. 2016 Shelby Mustang. 1969 MGB. 2020 Challenger, Jeep Wrangler, Ford YT, an A3 LNER, Monte Carlo, 1998 Suzuki, Grand Vitara, Crown Vic Interceptor, nice. 1967 Caddy convertible. My favorite car, one with no payment. I would love to have a 73 MGB GT V8. Kia Sportage 2019. It's funny because I find the majority of people in the comments seem to either be, it's either a 60s or early 70s something or another, probably all because, you know, after the 674 was all oil crisis vehicles, which were not as cool as their predecessors. But I'm surprised to see a lot of vehicles from the 10s are in here. Interesting. SMT, thanks for trying the Australian Loco. Yeah, sorry it didn't work out. I just, I don't really want to burn anything out because the electronics are all over the place. A Yugo. Is Canadian Dukes of Hazzard in the making? Hey, if I had the budget, I'd definitely make the Canadian Dukes of Hazzard where they're running 70 era Bombardier 2-strokes. Mercury Bobcat. The Yugo. You go from the dealership, then you go to the junkyard. What would the flag on the roof of the Canadian Dukes of Hazzard be? It would probably be a great big maple leaf is what I'd think. You should use your channel's popularity to snag a ride on one of the Via Rail Charger trial runs. I don't think they'd want to let me on one of those. I think they'd come by here and they'd be like, I don't know. This guy doesn't say very nice things about Siemens Chargers. Harrison, how do you deal with the changes from modern stuff today than how they were in the early 2000s and the stuff you liked? I don't know. A lot of stuff from the 2000s that I miss, but it's not really that much you can do about that. It's not that everything gets worse, too. I would actually argue that most cars today look better than they did in the 2000s, but the 2000s was definitely rolling out some pretty nice stuff. I mean, those late 90s, early 2000s Corollas, for example, seem to last forever, and I kind of wonder if they're going to outlast the new ones. Well, I think I'll pull this off the main line. We'll run the BNSF, and then I think we'll call it a night, because it's 10:25, and people residing upstairs probably would appreciate it if I brought the stream to an end so I don't keep them awake all night. Talk about suck cars. Look at the most American cars in the 80s. I don't know. The 80s had some cool stuff, though. For example, a 1980s Pontiac Parisian. Or alternatively, I don't know, the BMWs from the 80s are pretty cool, too. Honestly, though, the things that I really like from the 80s, the boats. It's like the modern boats, they're pretty nice. They make them all slick, but the old 80s boats, I like how like they tilt the windshields back to make them look faster and stuff. It's just fantastic. The 60s decade is probably the best out of them all. I mean, I wasn't around then, so, you know, I can't say whether or not it was great, but parts of it certainly sounded pretty good. I'd argue the same for the 70s and 80s, but I don't know. I don't want to be one of them people who was born like in the early 2000s and like, oh yeah, the 80s was the best. Believe me, it sure looks like a great time, but I just can't say because I wasn't there. I also find it funny there are people that were like born in like 1998 and they're like, oh yeah, the 90s was fantastic. It's like, by the time the 90s ended, you would have hardly been 2 years old. You really remember all of that? Don't run the trolley. People on the trolleys. What about 80s music? 80s music is the best music. And I know there's going to be people arguing that the 60s and 70s were better. And don't get me wrong, both those decades had great music. But 80s rock, nothing can beat it in my books. It's fantastic. All right. That's what we're looking for. Queen has good music in the 80s. I really like Queen's music, but it certainly wasn't very mainstream. I find kind of the same could be said for like Billy Joel. You know, it's like he was making music in the 70s, and I think it might have been in the 80s. I can't remember, but Billy Joel's music, it's like I don't really consider it the same thing because it was so different. You know, it's not like Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin where you can put them in the same playlist and they go really well together, you know? It's not that his music isn't good, it's just it doesn't blend the same way. And I find the same is kind of for Queen. Their music is so kind of abstract that it just doesn't fit with a lot of the other music from the same time. Should be the 1680s. More hits from the 60s. The 1760s. What's the oldest train you got? I've got some which date back to the early 50s, late 40s. Nothing pre-World War II, I don't think. SMT, what's your newest train? In terms of age, it's probably that train line. Weird Al is the best. Amish Paradise. Weird Al Yankovic's fantastic. I think it's cool too, because like, you know, when my parents were in their teens, like they were listening to Weird Al songs, and you know, here he is all these years later, still putting out new releases. Like that guy just does not stop. Generation after generation, listening to the same great parodies, or not the same great parodies, but same artist. Should do a rolling stock collection video. Maybe so. I think the oldest brand might be Bachmann. Yeah, as far as model train brands go, they might have existed for the longest, but I think Bachmann only started making model trains in maybe the mid-60s. So there are certainly brands that have been producing stuff for a lot longer than they have. I'm pretty sure Athearn is over 100 years old. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong, but yeah, they certainly have not been in the model train business that long, or at least relative to some other companies. I've got a River Rossi 1225. Do they have smoke units? I don't think so. I don't recall seeing River Rossi engines with factory smoke units. I think some people might add them on, but I don't think they do. Hey, SMT, did you hear about the Amtrak derailment? I read a headline about it, but I haven't read the article yet. In the early 70s, Athearn Blue Boxes ruled the world. Yeah, 70s, 80s. I mean, I don't know, if you're back in, like, let's say 1985, and right now the market is packed with Tyco and Bachmann and lifelike stuff. If you wanted to get some decent engines, I think Blue Box would have basically been your only really good option, with the exception of River Rossi and you know, people just scratch building their own stuff. Having said that, though, River Rossi engines might be better looking than Blue Boxes, but they were not more reliable. Would you ever get British rolling stock running for that British engine? I don't know. If I came across them at a good price, maybe. What brands of rolling stock do you purchase? Rapido. I have a bit of Bachmann stuff. It's all very miscellaneous. I don't know. There's not really one brand in terms of rolling stock I'm too partial towards. You have an old Fairbanks Morse Trainmaster Athearn Blue Box. I'm pretty sure I do a Southern Pacific one, maybe. It's almost my birthday. I've got an AC6000 similar to you, Harrison, but I need to repaint it. Where can I get a good locomotive for a good price? If you've got train shows in your area, that's probably your first spot to look. Second, in my opinion, would be train shops, but you have to compare prices to online, because some shops are just a total ripoff. I find with shipping, usually the train stores are cheaper, but that's not always the case, so watch out for that. And yeah, third would probably be the internet, although I don't know. I usually try to avoid the internet if you're looking for something in particular, especially if you're looking for older engines. Like, blue boxes on eBay are, in my opinion, like, I find you always see them going for like $40 at a train show, or even some train shops you can get them for about 20. I actually, the store out in Alberta, they were selling a blue box, untested condition, of course, for 20 bucks. It looked like an okay one, missing its handrails and stuff, so not the prettiest engine. But I asked them, I was like, hey, can we test it out? They put it on the track, it fired up. It didn't even have any problems. It didn't even stutter, just instantly moving, and it was quiet. So, gotta love the old blue boxes. Harrison, if somebody made an annoying orange set, would you buy it? I'm curious if you would. Probably not. Never paid more than $20 for a blue box. That's the way to do it. Cobe Mendelson, too. Thank you for the super chat. SMT, if you ever head down towards Auburn, GA, they have a nice train store called Train Master Models. Do you collect Southern Pacific? Not particularly. Do you have a subway car? No subways. My first engine was a blue box. Yeah, I even got a few back in the day, and those things have never given me any trouble, nor have their 70s counterparts. They really just kind of, if you maintain them, if you give them oil, and you clean out the motors every so often, there is not really a reason I see those things going out. Like, they just run and run and run. I've never seen one bite the dust before. I've seen some which have been really damaged because, you know, the original owners clearly dropped them and did all sorts of stuff, but I just bent the metal back into place and they fired right back up again, so not even a lost cause after all that. Which is stronger, Athearn Blue Box or Lionel? If you're talking about like an O-scale Lionel from the 50s versus a Blue Box, probably the Lionel. But if you're talking about HO Lionel in comparison to Blue Box, I have no doubt that the Blue Box would outlast the Lionel. Especially some of Lionel's later stuff from the 80s. I mean, those were basically just Bachmann drives, which, as many of you know, were not actually all that great. So, yeah, probably if you were running them a lot, not like if you took two engines, didn't maintain them at all, the Blue Box might last 50 years. You know, even without proper maintenance. Because the truth is, like, a lot of the ones which I've bought, I don't think they've ever had their oil changed or anything like that, and they're still going. A Lionel, after that much time, if it was being run consistently, I don't know if it would make it that long. Again, HO, not their 50s engines, because those things seem to last forever. They also got sued by Bachmann for it. I have not heard about that. I had thought that they had struck up a deal with Bachmann. But it's not the first time I've heard about a company knocking off another one. I mean, the proto engines, if you compare those to a blue box, they're practically identical. So much so that I find that they're actually relatively reliable, because the blue boxes, as I've said, are super reliable. So they've got a good base, but yeah, it's crazy how much they look alike. The protos are not as reliable as the blue boxes, by the way. They're still really good, but yeah, blue boxes are the OG. They're not getting beat. Do you want a Kato CSX? Can't say I do. This one's a Kato, though. As long as the stream going to go on for, I don't know. I said I was going to end it like 15 minutes ago, so I should probably end it right now. Well, we'll let this come right back around just so I can get in some last minute comments. I'm also pretty sure I saw a super chat fly by. Gonna see if I can find that. Nickel silver track better than steel tracks. 100%. Nickel silver track costs more than steel track, but steel track's probably the #1 track to avoid, just because if it gets wet or is even in a humid area, it's gonna rust, and it's not. Everything's just not gonna perform as well, and you're gonna spend a lot more time cleaning track. So I'd avoid it, if possible, of course. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all so much for joining in this evening. I think I'll finish off the stream because it is getting kind of late. But, yeah, I appreciate everyone coming in here tonight, and, yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with all of you. I'll just read off a few last comments. Do you own a Blue Bonnet by Bachman? No, I don't. Do you have a Greyhound steam locomotive? Can't say I do. Hey, SMT, I'm planning on making an HO layout. Any tips on what size the table should be? I would build it as big as you can. Like, if you have a lot of space, you know, use it. But most common, I find, especially for HO, seems to be a 4x8. But like I said, if you got more space, use what you can, because the more space you have, obviously, the more potential. I'm gonna get a model train for Christmas. Which should I get? Budget 100 to 150. Probably for that price, I'd recommend something from Kato. I mean, you know, obviously don't let my opinion, like if there's a specific engine you really want from another brand, don't let that stop you. But if you want something pretty good for about that price range, the Katos are pretty nice. Okay. Well, anyways, I think I'm going to finish off the stream. Thanks for joining in.